Hello and welcome to News 9. I'm Nishchita, and first up, Somashekar Reddy, brother of jailed mining baron Gali Janardhan Reddy, has said that State Energy Minister D.K. Shivakumar should not have visited his residence ahead of the Ballari Assembly by-poll. He said that the visit was a social one and nobody should read into the meeting. Well, Somashekar Reddy has time and again come out and said that there is nothing much to read into D.K. Shivakumar's visit to his house ahead of the by-polls. While on one hand, it was quite a controversy that came up after the Energy Minister visited the BJP leader's residence. The BJP leader went overboard and said that D.K. Shivakumar would not be welcomed to Congress leaders' houses, and that's the reason why he was coming to Somashekar Reddy's house. My colleague Arun joins us with more details on this. Well, Arun, certainly Somashekar Reddy is desperate to come clean on this occasion.
Nishita, remember this happened, this incident that we are talking of that so-called social meeting between the Energy Minister D.K. Shivakumar and the brother of jailed mining baron Gali Janardhan Reddy, that is Somashekar Reddy, happened on August 13th, and ever since that there has been a lot of political cloud which has got raised. In fact, the very next day, a day before Independence Day, actually you saw the BJP leaders taking the Congress to task, saying that the Congress was a divided house, and that's the reason why they were keen on dividing the BJP, and that the idea was that they were completely rattled by the prospects of the BJP candidate doing well and trouncing H.Y. Gopalakrishna, who is the Congress candidate for the Ballari Assembly by-poll. So clearly there was a lot of heat and dust which got raised after that particular meeting, and now we got a clarification from Somashekar Reddy. We still don't know what really transpired between the two of them, because remember, each is a political heavyweight in his own sense. Somashekar Reddy yields a tremendous amount of clout as the chairman of the KMF. He is known to be extremely close to the BJP top leadership, and more importantly, he is the brother of the jailed mining baron Gali Janardhan Reddy. So clearly, in more than one way, this particular meeting set off a lot of tongues wagging, and this clarification. But even though the clarification has been issued some 5 days after that purported meeting, the very fact that a clarification has been issued, that too quite late in the day, itself will now create some more political speculation. And one can expect that this will go on probably till the polling for the by-elections come to a close, and even after the results are announced, because you cannot say that politics is a stagnant pool of water. It is continuously in churn. And that is what is happening as far as Ballari is concerned, because remember, it is more or less a foregone conclusion that the Saffron party could once again ride home in both Shikaripura, which is the bastion of the former Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa, and Ballari is concerned. So if the Congress is looking at the possibility of only winning 1 out of 3 of the by-election seats, it will be a very embarrassing development. It will not go down too well with anyone, particularly the Congress leadership. So probably some kind of backroom negotiations are happening. We still are not privy to what exactly transpired. Remember, at this point of time, Somashekar Reddy has merely said that it was a social visit. Now we know social visit could mean anything and everything, and we will have to continue speculating as to what really transpired between the two leaders, Nishchita.
Absolutely, and also considering that the Congress, after bickering with the JDS ahead of the Lok Sabha elections, has now come down to joining hands with them in Shikaripura, is desperate to pull a few strings to ensure that they can somehow cover up the debacle that Lok Sabha elections was for them, even in the state.
That's right. They are working round the clock. They are working overtime to ensure that they are able to pull off a good win. That's the reason why you see now most of the ministers have thrown their weight behind. They are busy crisscrossing virtually the north of Karnataka. There are ministers who've campaigned in Shikaripura, who've gone to the dusty mining town of Ballari, who now also campaigning in Chikkodi. Sadalga, that's the 3rd assembly constituency. So clearly a lot of effort is being expended. But if these backroom negotiations do yield something, and if they yield some kind of electoral gain for the Congress, nothing like it. So they are doing things both as far as the back room is concerned and as far as the front end is concerned, going and talking to the voters and organizing these massive rallies, trying to sway the voters' mindset to ensure that they are able to come home victorious, Nishchita.
Right, thank you for joining us with all those details there, Arun. Well, there we have it. Somashekara Reddy, brother of the jailed mining baron Janardhan Reddy, is now desperately coming out to say that there's nothing much to read into the meeting that we had with DK Shivakumar, and that it was definitely inappropriate on part of the energy minister to meet him ahead of the by-polls. And well, with 3 assembly constituencies going into polls, today JDS held a convention at the Palace grounds on a grand scale. But as seen, several senior JDS leaders remained absent from the meet. It is rumoured that at the convention, the JDS is going to announce H.D. Kumaraswamy as their state president again after he resigned from the post before a few months. Earlier in the day, there were doubts over several senior leaders attending the convention. It is learned that the rift has been created within the party after the father-son duo went ahead with several decisions in the recent past without keeping senior leaders in the loop. Well, this is the massive convention that has been organized at Palace grounds. The JDS is coming together for a convention as a show of strength ahead of the by-polls, but it's certainly not working in their favor, as many senior leaders remained conspicuous with their absence after they were reportedly miffed with the fact that the father-son duo of H.D. Devegowda and H.D. Kumaraswamy had taken many crucial decisions without really taking any of them into consultation. Let's not forget that Kumaraswamy had stepped down from the post of the state president after the debacle that the assembly elections had turned out to be for the party, following which Krishnappa had taken over the post. But right before the Lok Sabha elections, Krishnappa breathed his last due to a heart attack, and ever since the state president's post has been vacant for the JDS. It is being expected that in this meet at the Palace grounds, Kumaraswamy could be named as the state president once again, but this show of strength has truly done more damage than good to the JDS. And while hectic campaigning is underway in Shikaripura constituency, the campaigning has been undertaken by former Excise Minister Renukacharya. The minister is seen campaigning for BJP candidate B.Y. Raghavendra. Well, it has been fairly hectic in the 3 assembly constituencies that are going into by-polls, and the BJP and the Congress leaving no stone unturned to ensure that they put their best foot forward in the elections. While on one hand, Congress is desperate to prove that the Lok Sabha election results were just an aberration in the state. On the other hand, the BJP wants to ride high on the wave of victory that they had received in the Lok Sabha elections. B.Y. Raghavendra, the son of B.S. Yediyurappa, was given the ticket from Shikaripura, and Yediyurappa's close confidant Renukacharya was seen campaigning for him. Meanwhile, Siddaramaiah, while speaking in Bellary, went on to state that the Congress and the JDS will be putting up a united front before the Saffron Party in Shikaripura. This after reports emerged that Siddaramaiah was constantly in touch with JDS leaders like Madhu Bangarappa.
ಶಿಕಾರಿಪುರಕ್ಕೆ ಸೀಮಿತವಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ JDSನವರು ನಮಗೆ ಬೆಂಬಲ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಅವರ ಬೆಂಬಲನ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೀಮಿತ ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ.
Well, that was the Chief Minister, in fact, going on to state that the JDS and the Congress are not coming together, but they are just putting up a united front in Shikaripura, and that they will back the Congress in Shikaripura, which is one of the constituencies that is going into polls. by the end of this month. This news was in the offing after reports emerged that the Chief Minister was constantly in touch with the JDS leaders. Meanwhile, the campaigns across the state in the 3 assembly constituencies is only stepping up. Today, the Sadalga constituency's Congress candidate Ganesh Hukkeri was seen busy campaigning door-to-door in his constituency. During campaigning, Ganesh Hukkeri stated that he has been benefited by the campaigning done by the Chief Minister in his constituency. And there we have it, Ganesh Hukkeri going on to distribute pamphlets and request people to vote for him in Chikkodi ahead of the elections, the by-polls that are due to be held by the end of this month. The Chief Minister was in Chikkodi a few days ago, where he campaigned for Ganesh Hukkeri. Even if the Chief Minister is in Ballari today, Ganesh Hukkeri was seen campaigning for himself early in the morning onwards. Well, these were the scenes witnessed in Chikkodi as Ganesh Hukkeri went from door to door, met a lot of people requesting them to vote for his party.